Let me give you another example. Lance Armstrong, probably the greatest cyclist in the world, had cancer. They found cancer, or they found a tumor in his brain. He had an operation. He had an operation on cancer. Doctors actually gave him a 5% chance of survival. They didn't tell him that, but that's what they figured. He had a very slim chance of surviving. Somebody asked him this question: when you were going through chemo, radiation, were you depressed? His answer was, he says, I probably had the best attitude that I've ever had in my life, because I figured that if I didn't have that kind of an attitude, it would hurt my chances of defeating this. You know, what an attitude under those circumstances. We talked about changing performance, changing an attitude, and in order to change an attitude, you have to change thinking. I want to talk a little bit about thinking, your thoughts, because that affects attitude. Your thoughts, your thinking is key to starting the success process. Your thinking is key to starting it. All action starts with your thoughts. All success begins with your mind, your thinking. Not physical, it's mental. Possibly the greatest discovery of my generation is that people can change their lives by changing their thinking, because that affects their attitude. You can change your life by changing your thinking. The biggest problem that we have is choosing the right thoughts. So be thinking about that. Be thinking about that on a daily basis. Our thinking, our thoughts are like magnets. It has the power to accelerate or to retard. It all depends upon how you are thinking. Your thinking is like a magnet. It has the power to accelerate things or retard things. You can't afford to be thinking negatively, because that's going to retard things. Your energy, I want you to listen to this. Your energy, your actions, and your achievements are going to go in the direction of your thinking. Your energy, your actions, and your achievements are going to go in that direction. Talk about input. Input affects thinking. There is a saying that you are what you watch and what you think. You've heard that. I think there's a lot to that. What you become depends largely upon what you read, what you watch, who you associate with, who you listen to. What you become depends largely upon what you read, what you watch, who you associate with, who you listen to. I think that's huge. Be careful then of what you watch, what you read, who you associate with. You've got to be surround yourself with positive thinking people. You can't control everything that goes in, but you can control how long it stays in there. Some things you just can't control. Another thought on input is how we communicate with ourselves. You know, just think about this. How many of you don't have to answer this, but how many of you have ever said, I can't, you know? And I've got to raise my hand because I've said it myself. So what am I inputting? I can't. What's my thinking? I can't. What's my attitude? I can't. What's my performance? I don't. So one of our jobs is to change I can't 2, I'm willing to try. I think I can. I know I can. I will. And I must. That type of thinking. And now we get performance. We change the performance. I could give you so many examples of things like that. But the way we communicate with ourselves too much of the time is negative. I can't do it. I'm a failure. The teacher doesn't like me. I don't like the teacher. You know, blah, 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 blah. And it's negative thinking. We've got to be careful of that. A positive attitude isn't going to solve all of our problems. But a positive attitude is absolutely critical to success and the quality of your life. A positive attitude. We must keep a positive attitude. You cannot afford to be around people that are negative thinkers. You can't afford it. You've got to stay away from them like they're the plague. If we deliberately choose to say negative rather than positive, basically 2 things happen. We go in the direction of blame. We want to point the finger at somebody else. Or self-pity. We feel sorry for ourselves. And one of the things that I've always told our players, self-pity is self-destruction. You can't feel sorry for yourself. Successful people are not born, they are created. Every day, you people are creating yourself. We create ourselves every day by the choices that we make, the attitudes we have, our thinking, what we input. We have to filter things that go in. Successful people form the right attitudes, the right habits. It doesn't cost 1 penny more to do what's right. And basically, little kids that high on up know what's right and what's wrong. They've got to make the right choices. Lack of discipline prevents us from acting in a way that we desire to act. We need discipline in our lives. I've always believed this. An undisciplined person is an unprepared person for life. We need discipline. We need to demand discipline. We want to be disciplined type of people. In closing, I'd just like to say this. Be leaders. Set an example at your school. Think, say, do what you believe is right. All of us know what's right and what's wrong. Have the discipline, the courage to do what's right. Sometimes it's not popular. Be leaders. You can accomplish anything if you do 5 things. Set goals, figure out a plan, ask yourself a question, believe in your plan, put it in action, don't deviate. There is not one person up here that cannot be a millionaire. There's not one of you that cannot be a millionaire. But you better not wait until you're 55 years old to set that as a goal. There's not one of you that can't achieve it. Thanks for being good listeners. Best wishes for a great year.
Okay, fellas, obviously some wise words. It's really up to us to listen and apply those.